Hi crafting friends. Thank you for joining me here today at the Craft Cafe Canada. I'm Catherine Brown, your Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator. Please join my Facebook group and visit my online store at www.craftcafecanada.com. Now let's go in and make something beautiful. Our card today includes one of my favorite techniques, starting with a blank canvas and creating a magical, beautiful scene. Let's gather our supplies and get started. We're going to need our card base in Whisper White. That's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. A layer of Whisper White that's just a little bit smaller, so we're going to take it and measure it at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. We'll need some post-it notes or some way of masking and a 1-inch circle mask. We'll be using the Lovely as a Tree stamp set, and we'll be using the large group of trees. We'll also need a piece of window sheet to do a reflective technique. We'll use the water or the waves out of the High Tide stamp set. And the sentiment I chose today comes from the Painted Harvest. I'm thankful for you. Ink colors we'll need are Momento Tuxedo Black, Saffron, and Crushed Curry. We'll also need Soft Sky and Marina Mist. We'll need sponges for each of these colors. All of these products can be bought in my online store. One last color, we'll need a slight amount of pink Pirouette. Let's bring in a piece of our Stampin' Up! Grid paper. We're going to lay this down, lining it up with the grid. Take one of our post-it notes and we're going to mask off a strip, both top and bottom, at 1 inch. Getting out our first sponge piece and this Saffron ink, we'll ink up that little piece of sponge, rub off the excess on the grid paper, and we're going to lay in some color pretty much in the center of this and going out to each side. Now we'll change over to the Crushed Curry. And we're going to intensify the color around the outside of that first Saffron, all the way around across the top and across the bottom, leaving that lighter Saffron in the center. Take our 1-inch circle mask And we're going to lay that down pretty much centered. Bring back in the crushed curry. And we're going to intensify the color all the way around that mask. Drawing it out, blending it together. Pink Pirouette will be next. We're not going to see a lot of this color. It's a very soft and subtle pink. We just want to add a little bit of transition between the yellow and that stark white. That's not going to remain white, but just add a little color in there, top and bottom. Always try to start off the page. And that's all we'll need for the pink Pirouette. There's not much there, and there doesn't need to be much there. Let's bring in another mask. We're going to create the landscape, or the horizon line. So just tearing off just the edge so that we don't have that stark, straight edge. I always tear towards me. Now let's decide where our horizon line is going to be. Here I decide I'm going to lay down my straight edge first. So with an additional post-it, I lay in, using the grid paper as a guide, I lay in that straight horizon line. And now I'm going to get that little torn strip and add it just a little above. We've left that 1-inch circle mask on. Bringing in our Momento Tuxedo black and a sponge, we're going to fill up that little space between our two masks. Remove those two masks. Bringing in our soft sky and another little piece of a sponge. Let's start laying in some color. Starting at the bottom edge, let's fill all that white space with the soft sky, and we're going to work up into that pink Pirouette and the crushed curry saffron also. I'm going to get some good color in there. I'm going to do the same thing at the top, always starting off the page on the post-it or the grid paper. Get that color in there. Now it's time to bring in Marina Mist. And one more sponge. Let's intensify these colors. So starting at the top edge, working some more color in. Now we're going to go down to the bottom, and we're going to intensify that color down at the bottom. Very lightly putting strokes in there, adding some of that Marina Mist into the blue, or into the Saffron and the crushed curry. You see this changing? Go right up to that horizon line, but don't cross it. We've still got the mask on over the sun at this time. Look at that changing. Do you see the water coming? I'm going to add some Marina Mist streaks up into the sky. I'm going to use the stamp from High Tide. The little water waves, the ripples. So we've mounted that stamp, and using the Marina Mist ink again, we're always going to stamp off and then stamp on. It's a very subtle look. You don't want stark lines. So stamp off, stamp on again, and again, and I'm just adding some into these areas. Do you see the ripples in the water? Now we're going to remove that mask. And we've got a little playing to do here. Let's add some color in there. So I've picked up that soft sky first, and I'm trying to stay below that horizon line and just intensify the bottom of that sun. Now I've got the Marina Mist, because you could use a post-it note and post it off there if you needed to, and a little stamp with the Marina Mist and the texture of those ripples. Now it's time to bring in the group of trees. Ink that up in the Momento Tuxedo Black. And I really don't want the land lines on there, the little grass underneath the trees. So I'm laying that straight edge mask down again. And hopefully lining that up so that the grasses are on that mask instead. Little pressure on that. Sorry for the head. And there we go. Bring in our window sheet. And I'm going to ink that same stamp again, the group of trees. And I'm going to stamp it down on the window sheet. Again, I do not want the bases of the trees with the grasses. So I bring in just a baby wipe here. And I wipe that off. Stamp it on our window sheet. Flip that over and line it up with our trees. And I bring in a block to use as a brayer and rub over top of my window sheet. Here comes magic. Look at that. Now your eye is drawn right to that center, so we need to fix that. So bring in that straight edge mask once more. I use these over and over again. And leaving just a little space there. Your Momento ink, add a little color right in that little area of the sun. I'm thinking I want a little bit more. I'm just going to lay that back down and add a little more black ink in that spot. Voila! Just want to add a little bird in the sky. And I don't want this whole group. I just want that single bird. So you can mask it off, or you can carefully bring your ink to your stamp and just ink up that one little bird. There he is. Sorry for the head again. And let's put him in the sky right there. One last thing to do is to add our sentiment. I've chosen the I Am Thankful for You from the Painted Harvest set. But this could be a birthday card, a thank you card. It could even be a beautiful sympathy card showing that brighter days are ahead. One more headshot there. Got some camera difficulties and we're working on this, so I apologize. I really liked having the white border, top and bottom on this. You could totally do it a landscape version too, and fill the whole thing up. So let's layer this onto our card base with some snail adhesive. And that's our beautiful card for today. I'd like to thank you for joining me here at the Craft Cafe Canada. Please be sure to like my video and visit my website, www.craftcafecanada.com.